Idiom on the ball. What does it mean?
On the ball is an idiom that means being alert, knowledgeable, and competent. If someone is on the ball, they are quick to understand and respond to situations, showing good awareness and skill. It's often used to compliment someone on their proficiency or attentiveness.
Give me three examples.
Sure, here are three examples of the idiom on the ball. 1. The new manager is really on the ball. She quickly identified the issues and implemented effective solutions. 2. I'm impressed with how on the ball our customer service team is. They always address inquiries promptly and professionally. 3. If you want to succeed in this fast paced industry, you need to be on the ball and stay ahead of the latest trends.
Okay, so if somebody is aware of cutting edge technology, so can I say that he or she is on the ball?
Absolutely. If someone is up to date with the latest in cutting edge technology, you can definitely say they're on the ball. It implies they have a good grasp of current trends and innovations.
Good grasp of current trend. What does it mean?
A good grasp of current trends means having a solid understanding and awareness of the latest developments, fashions, or movements in a particular field. It implies being well informed about what's popular or relevant right now, whether in technology, fashion, business, or any other area.
I understood. If somebody is forefront of something, so is she or he is on the ball?
Yes, if someone is at the forefront of something, it means they are leading or pioneering in a particular field. This often requires them to be on the ball, as they need to be highly knowledgeable, innovative, and aware of the latest trends and advancements.
Use the word pioneer in three sentences and tell me the meaning of each.
Sure, let's break it down with three sentences. 1. Steve Jobs was a pioneer in the personal computer industry. Here, pioneer means someone who was among the first to develop or innovate in a particular field, leading to significant advancements. 2. Marie Curie was a pioneer in the field of radioactivity research. In this context, pioneer refers to someone who made groundbreaking contributions to a new area of knowledge or research. 3. The Wright brothers were pioneers of aviation. Here, pioneers described people who were among the first to explore and develop the technology for powered flight. In all these sentences, pioneer refers to someone who is an innovator or trailblazer in a particular area, making significant contributions that pave the way for others.
Idiom, pass with flying colors. What is that? And give me three examples of that.
The idiom pass with flying colours means to achieve something exceptionally well, or to succeed with distinction. It's often used when someone does much better than expected in a test, examination, or any challenging task. Here are three examples. 1. After months of preparation, Jenna passed her medical exams with flying colours, earning top marks in every subject. The team was nervous about the final presentation, but they passed with flying colours, impressing the clients with their innovative ideas. 3. Tom was worried about his driving test, but he passed with flying colours, receiving compliments from the examiner on his excellent skills.
Turn a blind eye.
Turn a blind eye is an idiom that means to deliberately ignore something, often something wrong or undesirable. It implies choosing to overlook or pretend not to notice a particular issue or behaviour. Here are three examples. 1. The manager decided to turn a blind eye to the minor infraction, focusing instead on the team's overall performance. 2. She knew her friend was bending the rules, but she decided to turn a blind eye this time. The teacher couldn't turn a blind eye to the cheating and had to report it to the principal.
There was a cricket match series between India and New Zealand, and India lost all the three matches. So it was a kind of whitewash. So our management is turning a blind eye on this defeat.
That's a great use of both whitewash and turning a blind eye. In cricket, a whitewash refers to one team winning all the matches in a series. And if the management is turning a blind eye to India's defeat, it suggests they're choosing to overlook or not address the losses. This might be to avoid controversy or to focus on other aspects of the team's performance or future plans.
What is the meaning of overlooked?
Overlook has a couple of meanings. One common meaning is to fail to notice or consider something, often unintentionally. For example, I overlooked a typo in the report. Another meaning is to have a view from above, such as, the hotel room overlooks the ocean, meaning the room has a view of the ocean from a higher position.
Give me four more examples for the overlooked.
Certainly. Here are 4 examples using overlook. During the audit, the accountant overlooked a small error in the calculations. Here, overlooked means failed to notice. The committee overlooked her qualifications when selecting candidates for the job. In this case, overlooked means neglected to consider or recognize. 3. The mountain cabin overlooks a beautiful valley. Here, overlooks means has a view of the valley from a higher position. 4. We must not overlook the importance of regular maintenance for safety. In this context, overlook means to fail to consider or pay attention to.
Take the easy way out. What does it mean?
The easy way out refers to choosing a simple or less challenging solution to a problem, often avoiding effort or responsibility. It's like taking a shortcut or opting for an easier path instead of confronting a difficult situation head on. Here are a few examples. Instead of studying for the exam, he took the easy way out and cheated. 2. She knew she should address the issue with her colleague directly, but she took the easy way out and ignored it. 3. Opting for the easy way out, he paid someone to do his project instead of working on it himself. 4. Taking the easy way out often means missing out on valuable learning experiences.
You used a term head on. What does it mean?
Head on means directly, without avoiding or hesitating. It often refers to confronting a challenge or difficult situation directly and with determination, rather than avoiding it. For example, she decided to tackle the problem head on by addressing it with her team immediately. It implies dealing with the issue straightforwardly.
Give three more examples of head on.
Sure, here are 3 more examples using head on. 1. The 2 cars collided head on at the intersection, causing a major traffic jam. Here, head on describes the direct, front-to-front collision between the 2 vehicles. 2. Instead of ignoring the criticism, he chose to face it head on and responded with a detailed explanation. In this context, head on means directly addressing the criticism without avoiding it. 3. She confronted the challenges of starting a new business head on, determined to succeed despite the obstacles. Head on here implies directly dealing with the difficulties and challenges of entrepreneurship without shying away.
What on earth? What does it mean?
What on earth is an expression used to convey surprise, confusion, or disbelief about something unusual or unexpected. It emphasizes the speaker's strong reaction. For example, "What on earth is that noise?" or "What on earth are you doing?" It's similar to saying, "How is this possible?" or "Why is this happening?" and is often used to question or express shock at a situation.
Give me two more examples and explain what on earth.
Of course, here are two more examples with "what on earth." 1. What on earth happened to your car? It's covered in mud. In this example, "what on earth" expresses surprise and confusion about the car's unusual condition. 2. She asked, "What on earth are you wearing?" when she saw his bright orange suit. Here, "what on earth" is used to express shock or disbelief at the unexpected choice of clothing. In both examples, "what on earth" emphasizes the speaker's surprise or confusion. It adds emphasis to the question, showing that the situation is out of the ordinary or hard to believe.
In the light of something.
In the light of something is an idiom used to mean considering or because of a particular fact or situation. It indicates that the information or circumstance mentioned influences or changes how something is viewed or understood. Here are two examples. 1. In the light of recent events, we have decided to postpone the meeting. Here, "in the light of" means because of the recent events, which have influenced the decision to delay the meeting. 2. The policy was revised in the light of feedback from employees. In this case, "in the light of" means considering the feedback received, which prompted changes to the policy. In both examples, the phrase highlights how new information or circumstances are taken into account when making a decision or forming an opinion.
At the end of my rope.
At the end of my rope is an idiom that means feeling completely frustrated, exhausted, or stressed out because you've run out of options or patience. It's like reaching a point where you don't know what to do next because you're overwhelmed by a situation. Here are a couple of examples. 1. After trying to fix the issue for hours, I'm at the end of my rope and don't know what else to do. She's at the end of her rope with the constant delays in the project. In both cases, the phrase expresses a sense of desperation or feeling stuck.
I am learning Spanish, but now I am at the end of my rope.
Learning a new language can be challenging, and it's normal to feel overwhelmed at times. If you're at the end of your rope, it might help to take a short break or try a different approach to your studies. Maybe some fun activities like watching Spanish movies, listening to music, or using language apps could make it more enjoyable. Keep going, you've got this.
To fight to the bitter end.
Fight to the bitter end is an idiom that means to persist in a struggle or confrontation until the very end, regardless of how difficult or hopeless the situation may seem. It implies showing determination and resilience, not giving up until the conflict is resolved, even if the outcome is unfavorable. Here are a couple of examples. Despite being outnumbered, the soldiers vowed to fight to the bitter end to defend their position. 2. She was determined to fight to the bitter end for her rights in the lawsuit. In both examples, the phrase emphasizes a commitment to continue struggling or resisting until the conflict is fully played out.
Give me five more examples to the fight to the bitter end.
Sure, here are 5 more examples of fight to the bitter end. 1. The underdog team fought to the bitter end, refusing to give up even when the score was against them. 2. Despite the challenges, the activists vowed to fight to the bitter end for environmental justice. 3. The small business owner fought to the bitter end to keep her store open, despite the economic downturn. 4. The lawyers prepared to fight to the bitter end in court to defend their client's innocence. 5. Knowing the odds were against them, the explorers fought to the bitter end to survive in the harsh wilderness. In each scenario, fight to the bitter end conveys a strong determination to keep going until the very end, regardless of the difficulties faced.
At the crack of dawn, DAWN.
At the crack of dawn is an idiom that means very early in the morning, right when the sun is rising. It refers to the first light of daybreak, just as the night is ending and the new day begins. Here are a couple of examples. 1. We woke up at the crack of dawn to start our hike up the mountain. This means they started their hike very early in the morning, at sunrise. 2. Farmers often begin their work at the crack of dawn to make the most of the daylight hours. This indicates that farmers start working at sunrise to utilize the full day. The phrase paints a vivid picture of the early morning light just beginning to break through the darkness.
Over the top.
Over the top is an idiom that means excessive or exaggerated beyond what is considered normal or reasonable. It often describes something that's done in an excessive, outrageous, or overly dramatic way. Here are a couple of examples. 1. The party decorations were over the top, with giant balloons and glitter everywhere. This suggests the decorations were much more elaborate and extravagant than necessary. 2. His reaction to the criticism was over the top. He started shouting and throwing things. This implies his response was disproportionately intense and extreme. The phrase often carries a negative connotation, suggesting that something is unnecessarily excessive.
Excavate. Use this term. Excavation. What is that?
Excavation seems like a misspelling. You might be referring to excavation. Excavation is the process of digging, removing earth, or hollowing out an area, often for construction or archaeological purposes. It involves removing soil, rock, or other materials to create a cavity or hole in the ground. Here are a couple of examples. 1. The construction crew began the excavation for the new building's foundation. This means they started digging to prepare the site for the building's base. 2. Archaeologists conducted an excavation at the ancient site to uncover artifacts. This indicates they were digging in a historical area to find items from the past. Excavation is a crucial step in many construction projects and archaeological studies.
Where we use the term untidy.
The term untidy is used to describe something that is not neat, orderly, or well organized. It can refer to spaces, objects, or even personal appearance. Here are a few contexts where you might use untidy. Rooms or spaces. His room is always untidy, with clothes and books strewn everywhere. The kitchen became untidy after the party, with dishes piled up in the sink. Appearance. After the long flight, she looked untidy, with her hair messy and clothes wrinkled. He arrived at the meeting looking untidy, wearing a crumpled shirt and unpolished shoes. The teacher commented that his handwriting was untidy and hard to read. The report was untidy, with several formatting errors and inconsistent fonts. 4. The garden became untidy, with weeds growing among the flowers. After the storm, the yard looked untidy, littered with branches and leaves. Untidy generally conveys a sense of disarray or lack of organization, and it's often used when suggesting that something needs to be cleaned up or arranged properly.
What is the meaning of stingy? Stingy.
Stingy means unwilling to spend money or give something, often to an excessive or unreasonable degree. It describes someone who is reluctant to share or give, especially when they have more than enough. For example, If someone refuses to tip at a restaurant despite receiving excellent service, they might be considered stingy. Here are a couple of examples. 1. He's so stingy that he refuses to turn on the heating, even in the middle of winter. This suggests he is excessively frugal to the point of discomfort. 2. Don't be stingy with the chocolate chips. The cookies taste better with more. This implies not to be overly frugal or sparing with the chocolate chips. Being stingy is generally seen as a negative trait, as it suggests a lack of generosity.
What is the meaning of yearn? Yearn.
Yearn means to have an intense feeling of longing or desire for something, often something that is difficult or impossible to obtain. It's a deep, emotional craving or desire for something you miss, love, or wish for. Here are a couple of examples. 1. After years abroad, he yearned for the familiar comforts of home. This means he had a strong desire to return to the things he knew and loved about his home. She yearned for the days when she could travel freely without worries. This implies a deep longing for the freedom and joy of past travel experiences. Yearning often conveys a sense of nostalgia or wistfulness for something lost or out of reach.
What is nostalgia?
Nostalgia is a sentimental longing or affection for the past. It's a feeling of pleasure and sometimes slight sadness when remembering experiences, places, or people from the past, often with a yearning to return to that time. Nostalgia can be triggered by various things, like old photos, music, or familiar smells. Here are a couple of examples. 1. Hearing that old song filled her with nostalgia for her college days. This means the song brought back fond memories of her time in college. 2. He felt a wave of nostalgia as he flipped through the photo album, remembering family vacations from his childhood. This suggests the photos evoked warm memories of past family trips. Nostalgia is a complex emotion that can be both sweet and bittersweet, as it reflects on cherished memories while recognizing that those times have passed.
What is idolatry? Idolatry.
Idolatry is the worship of idols, or extreme admiration or reverence for someone or something. In a religious context, it refers to the worship of physical objects or images as gods. In a broader sense, it can mean having an excessive or obsessive devotion to someone or something. Here are a couple of examples. 1. The ancient tribe was known for its idolatry, worshipping statues made of stone and wood. This refers to the religious practice of worshipping physical idols. His idolatry of celebrity culture led him to spend all his time following the lives of famous people. Here, idolatry describes an excessive admiration for celebrities, almost like worship. Idolatry often carries a negative connotation, especially in religious contexts, where it is seen as misguided or sinful.
Get off on the right foot.
Get off on the right foot is an idiom that means to start something in a positive, successful, or productive way. It suggests beginning an endeavor, relationship, or task with the right approach or attitude, leading to favorable outcomes. Here are a couple of examples. 1. She got off on the right foot with her new boss by completing her first project ahead of schedule. This means she made a good impression by starting her new job with a successful achievement. 2. The team got off on the right foot by winning their first game of the season. This indicates they started their season well, setting a positive tone for future games. Getting off on the right foot is often seen as important because first impressions and early actions can significantly influence the success of an endeavor.
Can you update me with all the idioms which I ask you?
Sure, let's recap the idioms we've discussed. 1. On the ball, being alert, knowledgeable, and competent. 2. Turn a blind eye, deliberately ignoring something, often something wrong or undesirable. 3. Whitewash, in sports, when one team wins all the matches in a series. 4. In the light of something, considering or because of a particular fact or situation. 5. At the end of my rope, feeling completely frustrated, exhausted, or stressed out because you've run out of options or patience. 6. Fight to the bitter end. To persist in a struggle or confrontation until the very end, regardless of difficulties. 7. At the crack of dawn. Very early in the morning, right when the sun is rising. Over the top, excessive or exaggerated beyond what is considered normal or reasonable. 9. Get off on the right foot. To start something in a positive, successful, or productive way. These idioms are great for adding culling and emphasis to your language.
Create a short story with all these idioms.
Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a man named Jack who was always on the ball. He noticed that the community was turning a blind eye to the litter problem in the local park. Determined to make a difference, he decided to organize a cleanup crew. In the light of recent events, where a nearby town was praised for its environmental efforts, Jack felt inspired. He rallied the townspeople, and they agreed to meet at the crack of dawn to start cleaning. The task was daunting, but Jack was not at the end of his rope. Instead, he encouraged everyone to fight to the bitter end to restore the park's beauty. As they worked, Jack made sure they didn't go over the top with unnecessary expenses. Instead, they focused on getting off on the right foot by planting new flowers and setting up recycling bins. By the end of the day, the park looked transformed, and the townspeople were filled with nostalgia for the days when the park was a beloved gathering place. Thanks to Jack's leadership, they had not only cleaned up the park, but also brought the community closer together, proving that with the right effort, they could achieve anything. And so, they all got off on the right foot towards a cleaner, greener future.